Do you ever find yourself asking, what am I supposed to do? Do you ever wake up feeling like you're not sure if you're on the right path, unsure of what comes next, unsure of what you're truly meant to do with your life? I know the feeling, I've been there. And you know what? You're not alone. But I'm here to tell you something powerful today. You have everything you need right now to find your purpose. It's already inside you. You don't have to wait for permission. You don't have to seek answers from others. The answers are already within you. The only question is, are you ready to listen? So let's break it down. Let's get clear on this right here, right now. Self-awareness is the most powerful tool you can possess when it comes to creating the life you truly desire. It is the foundation upon which everything else is built. Without self-awareness, you are like a ship lost at sea, drifting aimlessly with no clear destination. But with self-awareness, you become the captain of your own ship, navigating with purpose and direction. To be truly self-aware is to understand who you are at your core. It's about knowing your strengths and weaknesses, your desires and fears, and your deepest values. It's not just about what you do or how you perform in life, it's about understanding why you do it, why you think the way you do, and why you feel the things you feel. It's having the clarity to recognize what truly matters to you and why. This level of understanding gives you the power to make choices that align with your authentic self and not the person the world expects you to be. In our busy, fast-paced world, it's easy to lose touch with who we are. We often get caught up in the noise of external influences, constantly seeking validation from others or measuring our worth based on external achievements. The problem with this is that we begin to look outside of ourselves for answers instead of looking inward. Self-awareness requires you to silence the noise of the outside world and start listening to the voice within. It's about reconnecting with your true essence, away from the distractions and expectations that cloud your judgment. Many of us go through life without ever really asking ourselves what we want or what makes us feel fulfilled. We take on roles and responsibilities without fully examining if they align with our core values and desires. Over time, this can lead to feelings of frustration, confusion, and even resentment. We might reach a point in our lives where we ask ourselves, is this really what I want? Or why am I not happy even though I've achieved all these things? The root of these questions lies in the lack of self-awareness. Without understanding who we are and what drives us, we can end up chasing goals that don't truly serve us. Being self-aware doesn't mean you have all the answers right away. It's a continuous journey of discovery. It's about being honest with yourself and being willing to look at the areas of your life where you may have been avoiding the truth. It's about recognizing the stories you tell yourself and whether those stories are helping or hindering your growth. For example, you may have a story that says, I'm not good enough, or I have to work harder than everyone else to succeed. These stories are limiting beliefs that hold you back from stepping into your full potential. Self-awareness allows you to recognize these patterns and replace them with empowering beliefs that align with your true purpose. A powerful way to develop self-awareness is through introspection. Taking time to reflect on your thoughts, actions, and emotions allows you to gain valuable insights into your inner world. Journaling is one tool that can help you do this. When you write down your thoughts and feelings, you externalize them, which makes it easier to see them clearly. As you reflect on your experiences, you begin to notice recurring patterns in your thoughts and behaviors. Perhaps you notice that certain situations trigger feelings of anxiety or fear. By identifying these triggers, you can start to understand where they come from and how to address them. Self-awareness also involves understanding your emotional responses. Emotions are powerful indicators of what's going on inside you. They provide valuable feedback about your internal state and how you're reacting to the world around you. For instance, if you feel angry or frustrated, it's a sign that something is out of alignment with your values or boundaries. Instead of suppressing these emotions or ignoring them, self-awareness encourages you to explore them and ask yourself why you're feeling this way. This practice of emotional awareness allows you to make conscious decisions about how to respond rather than reacting impulsively. As you deepen your self-awareness, you begin to realize that you are not a fixed, static being. You are constantly evolving. Your desires, values, and beliefs can shift over time as you grow and learn more about yourself. The key to this growth is to remain open to change and to embrace the process of self-discovery. You don't have to have everything figured out right now. What matters is that you are committed to the journey and that you are willing to explore new aspects of yourself with curiosity and compassion. One of the most profound aspects of self-awareness is understanding your purpose. When you are self-aware, you start to see the connections between your thoughts, emotions, and actions, and you gain clarity on what truly drives you. You can see how your actions are either aligned with your purpose or how they are pulling you further away from it. It's in this awareness that you start to make choices that are aligned with your deepest values and desires. You stop living life by default and start living it by design. Self-awareness is not just about understanding your strengths and passions. It's also about understanding your weaknesses and limitations. It's about accepting who you are, flaws and all. When you embrace your imperfections, you stop seeking perfection and start focusing on progress. You give yourself permission to be human, to make mistakes, and to learn from them. This acceptance of yourself creates a sense of inner peace and confidence, knowing that you are enough just as you are. Ultimately, self-awareness is about taking control of your life. It's about understanding that you are the one responsible for creating your own happiness and success. It gives you the freedom to make decisions that are true to yourself, rather than living a life dictated by others. The more you understand yourself, the more empowered you become. You realize that you have the ability to shape your future, and it all starts with knowing who you are right now. Clarity is a powerful force that has the ability to transform the way we approach life. When you have clarity, you can navigate through the complexities of your world with purpose and precision. It is the light that illuminates the path ahead, cutting through confusion and uncertainty. Without clarity, it's easy to feel lost, overwhelmed, and stuck. You may find yourself caught in a cycle of indecision, uncertainty, and frustration, but with clarity, everything changes. You become equipped with the understanding you need to move forward with confidence, knowing exactly where you are headed and why. At its core, clarity is about having a clear sense of purpose and direction. It's the ability to see where you're going and to understand why it matters. Many people live their lives without ever truly having clarity. They drift from one day to the next, reacting to circumstances rather than intentionally creating their own reality. They may have goals and aspirations, but they lack the focus and understanding necessary to bring those goals to life. It's not enough to simply know what you want. You must also have a deep understanding of why you want it and what it will take to achieve it. When you are clear on your goals and your purpose, you become unstoppable. The path to your dreams becomes straightforward, even when faced with obstacles or challenges. You know that every step you take is aligned with your true desires and values, and that makes it easier to push through difficulties. Without clarity, setbacks can feel like dead ends, leaving you disoriented and unsure of what to do next. But with clarity, setbacks are simply learning opportunities, temporary detours on the road to your destination. You see them for what they are, necessary steps on the journey to success. One of the most important aspects of clarity is the ability to say no to distractions. In a world filled with constant noise, it can be incredibly difficult to stay focused on what matters most. Opportunities and distractions come at you from every angle, and it's easy to get sidetracked. But when you have clarity, you develop a filter that allows you to distinguish between what is essential and what is not. You understand that not everything is worth your time and energy. You can focus on what truly matters, and in doing so, you become more effective, more productive, and more aligned with your purpose. Clarity also gives you the confidence to make decisions quickly and decisively. How many times have you been paralyzed by indecision, unsure of what the right choice is? When you lack clarity, every decision feels like a gamble, and the fear of making the wrong choice holds you back. But when you have clarity, making decisions becomes much easier. You know exactly what aligns with your goals, your values, and your purpose. Decisions become less about weighing endless options and more about choosing the path that is most in line with your true vision for your life. You trust yourself and the choices you make because they are rooted in a clear sense of what you want and why you want it. Clarity also fosters a sense of inner peace. When you are unclear about what you want or where you're going, it can lead to feelings of anxiety, stress, and confusion. The constant questioning and uncertainty weigh heavily on your mind and your emotions. But when you have clarity, a sense of calm follows. You know that you're on the right path, and this knowledge allows you to take each step with confidence and conviction. You no longer have to second guess yourself or wonder if you're doing the right thing. You can trust the process and trust yourself, and that trust brings peace of mind. The process of gaining clarity is not always easy. It requires deep reflection, introspection, and sometimes even the willingness to face uncomfortable truths. It's easy to get caught up in the demands and pressures of life, allowing external factors to dictate your actions and decisions. But clarity requires you to slow down, step back, and ask yourself the hard questions. What do you really want? What are your true passions? What are your non-negotiable values? These are not questions to be answered lightly. They require time, patience, and a willingness to be honest with yourself. The answers may not come all at once, but with time and effort, you can begin to gain the clarity you need to move forward. As you gain clarity, you also begin to align your actions with your vision. Clarity is not just about understanding your goals and desires, it's about ensuring that everything you do supports them. When you are clear about what you want, you naturally begin to make choices that align with that vision. Your actions become more purposeful, and you start to see results in your life that reflect your true intentions. The process of aligning your actions with your vision is ongoing, but as you continue to refine your clarity, you find it easier to stay on track and move closer to your goals. Clarity is also a driving force behind motivation. When you know exactly what you want and why it matters, your drive to achieve it becomes unstoppable. The clearer your vision, the more you are willing to do what it takes to make it a reality. Motivation isn't something that comes and goes. It's fueled by the strength of your clarity. If your goals are fuzzy and unclear, your motivation will wane, and you'll find yourself lacking the energy to push through challenges. But when your vision is crystal clear, your motivation becomes a powerful, unshakable force that propels you forward. One of the most remarkable things about clarity is that it allows you to make progress even when the road ahead seems uncertain. Life is full of unexpected twists and turns, and the path to success is rarely a straight line. But when you have clarity, you can navigate the unknown with confidence. You know that each step you take, no matter how small, is moving you closer to your ultimate destination. Even when you don't have all the answers, clarity gives you the courage to keep going. It's the belief that as long as you remain focused on your vision and take consistent action, you will eventually get where you need to go. Clarity has the power to transform not only your personal life, but also your professional life. In the business world, clarity is what separates the successful from the unsuccessful. Entrepreneurs who are clear about their vision, their goals, and their values are the ones who are able to build thriving businesses and make a lasting impact. They know what they stand for and are unwavering in their pursuit of their mission. On the other hand, businesses that lack clarity often struggle to find direction, constantly reacting to the demands of the market rather than proactively shaping their own future. Clarity is what allows individuals and organizations to make decisions that are aligned with their greater purpose and to navigate the complexities of the business world with confidence and focus. Letting go of external expectations is one of the most liberating actions you can take in life. We are constantly bombarded by messages from society, family, friends, and even our own inner dialogue about what we should be doing, how we should look, and who we should become. These external pressures can be overwhelming, and if we're not careful, they begin to shape the way we live our lives. We start making decisions based on what others expect of us rather than what we truly desire for ourselves. It becomes easy to forget who we are and what we truly want in the pursuit of meeting the standards of others. The first step in letting go of external expectations is to recognize how deeply ingrained they are in our lives. From a very young age, we are conditioned by external forces. Our parents, teachers, peers, and society at large often set standards for what success looks like, what happiness should feel like, and how we should behave in the world. These external markers of success can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, they can provide structure and guidance, but on the other hand, they can trap us in a cycle of chasing someone else's dream instead of our own. The pressure to meet these standards can feel suffocating, and it's easy to lose sight of our own values and desires. Over time, this external pressure can lead to dissatisfaction, anxiety, and a sense of disconnection from our true selves. We may find ourselves pursuing goals or achievements that don't truly resonate with us, but we continue on the path because we've been told it's the right thing to do. We may work long hours at a job that doesn't bring us joy because we feel we should achieve career success. Or we may stay in relationships that no longer serve us because we're afraid of disappointing others. The truth is, when we live our lives according to someone else's expectations, we are not living authentically. We are living in response to the world, and this often leads to a sense of emptiness as we are not fulfilling our own needs or desires. To begin the process of letting go of external expectations, it is important to develop a strong sense of self-awareness. Self-awareness is the ability to look inward and ask yourself what truly matters to you. It's about understanding your own values, passions, and desires, and then aligning your actions with those inner truths. When you know what you stand for, it becomes easier to discern whether the expectations placed on you by others align with your own values. If they don't, it's time to take a step back and reassess where you're investing your energy. Are you living someone else's dream, or are you pursuing a path that feels right to you? The process of letting go of external expectations requires courage. It's not always easy to break free from the societal pressures and expectations that have been ingrained in us for years. We may fear judgment, rejection, or disappointment from those around us. The idea of disappointing our parents, colleagues, or friends can feel like a daunting and painful experience. But the truth is, the more we live according to the expectations of others, the further we move away from our own sense of purpose and fulfillment. When we choose to live authentically, we create space for personal growth, happiness, and meaningful connections. One of the most challenging aspects of letting go of external expectations is learning how to set boundaries. Boundaries are essential for protecting our time, energy, and emotional well-being. When we say yes to every request or demand placed on us, we are essentially giving away our power. By constantly trying to meet the expectations of others, we risk losing sight of our own needs. Learning to say no is a powerful way to regain control over our lives. It allows us to make choices that align with our values and priorities rather than being pulled in every direction by the demands of others. Another important aspect of letting go of external expectations is learning to embrace imperfection. Society often tells us that in order to be successful or accepted, we must be perfect. We are constantly bombarded with images of idealized versions of beauty, success, and happiness, which can create feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. But perfection is an illusion, and striving for it only leads to frustration and burnout. Instead, we must learn to embrace our flaws, mistakes, and imperfections as part of what makes us unique. When we let go of the need to meet unrealistic standards, we free ourselves to be more authentic and to live with more joy and ease. Letting go of external expectations also involves trusting yourself and your own instincts. When we are constantly looking outside of ourselves for validation or approval, we become disconnected from our inner guidance system. Trusting yourself means having the confidence to make decisions that align with your own desires, even when they may not be popular or understood by others. It means trusting that you have the wisdom and strength to create a life that is true to you, regardless of what others think or expect. This self-trust is empowering and allows you to take bold, inspired action toward your goals. The fear of judgment is one of the biggest barriers to letting go of external expectations. We often worry about what others will think if we make choices that go against the norm or defy societal standards. We may fear being criticized, ridiculed, or rejected. But the reality is, no matter what we do, someone will always have an opinion. There will always be people who disagree or don't understand our choices. The key is to recognize that their opinions do not define us. When we let go of the need to gain approval from others, we free ourselves to pursue the life we truly want. Living authentically and letting go of external expectations does not mean rejecting the opinions or advice of others altogether. It's important to listen to feedback and consider the perspectives of those we trust, but it's equally important to evaluate that feedback through the lens of our own values and desires. Ultimately, we are the ones who must live with the choices we make, and it is our own happiness and fulfillment that should guide us. In the end, letting go of external expectations is about reclaiming our personal power and stepping into our true potential. It's about having the courage to choose a path that is uniquely our own, even if it goes against the grain. It's about recognizing that we are the authors of our own story, and we have the ability to write the chapters that reflect our deepest truths. By letting go of the expectations placed on us by others, we create the space to live a life that is authentic, fulfilling, and aligned with our true purpose. Facing your fears head-on is one of the most empowering actions you can take in life. Fear is an inevitable part of the human experience, but it does not have to control you. In fact, fear can be a powerful catalyst for growth and transformation. It often holds us back from pursuing our dreams, stepping into our potential, and taking risks that could lead to incredible rewards. But what if you could face those fears directly, without hesitation or avoidance? What if you could harness the power of your fear and use it as a stepping stone toward the life you truly desire? The first step in facing your fears is to acknowledge them. Fear often thrives in the shadows of our minds, growing more powerful the longer we avoid it. When we allow fear to stay hidden, it has control over us. It keeps us stuck, paralyzed, and in a constant state of uncertainty. But when we bring fear into the light and confront it head on, it loses much of its power. Acknowledging your fears doesn't mean that you are weak or incapable. In fact, it is a sign of strength. It means that you are willing to be honest with yourself and face the things that make you uncomfortable. This is the first step toward breaking free from the grip of fear and reclaiming your power. Re-engage your fear. The next step is to understand it. Fear often arises from our perception of potential danger or harm. It is a natural response designed to protect us from threats. However, not all fears are rational or based on real danger. Many of our fears are based on imagined outcomes or worst-case scenarios that have not yet come to pass. By understanding the root of your fear, you can begin to challenge its validity. Ask yourself, is this fear based on something that is likely to happen, or is it simply a projection of my mind's worries? When you take the time to dissect your fear, you may find that it is less intimidating than it initially seemed. Fear can often be a result of not knowing what to expect, but once you gain clarity about what you are afraid of, you can start to reframe your thoughts and approach the situation with greater confidence. Another critical aspect of overthinking and imagining all the things that could go wrong. But the truth is, the longer you wait to take action, the more power fear has over you. The only way to break this cycle is to act in spite of your fear. Taking action doesn't mean that you have to leap into the unknown without any preparation. It simply means that you take a small step in the direction of your fear. Every time you take action, no matter how small, you are building momentum and proving to yourself that you are capable of moving beyond your fear. Over time, these small steps accumulate, and what once seemed terrifying becomes more manageable and less overwhelming. Facing your fears head-on also requires a shift in perspective. Rather than seeing fear as something to avoid or run from, begin to view it as a tool for growth. Fear often indicates that you are on the brink of something new and important. It is a signal that you are stepping outside of your comfort zone and into the realm of possibility. Instead of letting fear paralyze you, embrace it as a sign that you are challenging yourself to grow, learn, and expand. Every time you push through your fear, you become stronger, more resilient, and more capable of handling whatever life throws your way. It is important to remember that fear is not something that disappears overnight. Facing your fears head-on is an ongoing process that requires patience, self-compassion, and persistence. There will be times when fear resurfaces, when doubt creeps in, and when you question whether you are capable of pushing through. In these moments, it's crucial to remind yourself of the progress you've already made. Reflect on the times in your life when you've faced your fears and come out stronger on the other side. This past success can serve as a powerful reminder that you have the strength and resilience to face whatever challenges lie ahead. An other key element of facing your fears is building a support system. While it's important to face your fears on your own, you don't have to do it alone. Surround yourself with people who encourage you, who believe in your potential, and who will be there to support you during the tough times. Having a strong support network can help you feel less isolated and more confident as you face your fears. These people can provide guidance, reassurance, and accountability, helping you stay committed to your growth and progress. Finally, remember that failure is not the end of the journey, it is simply part of the process. Fear often prevents us from taking action because we fear failure. But failure is not something to be feared, it is an opportunity to learn and improve. When you face your fears head-on, there will be moments of failure. But those moments are not a reflection of your worth or capabilities. Instead, they are opportunities to learn, to adjust your approach, and to grow stronger. The fear of failure often holds us back from even trying, but once we realize that failure is not something to avoid, we can take bold, courageous steps toward our goals. Facing your fears head-on is not about eliminating fear entirely. It's about learning to coexist with it, to move forward in spite of it. Fear will always be a part of the human experience, but it doesn't have to dictate the course of your life. When you confront your fears directly, you take away their power and transform them into a source of strength. Each time you face fear, you reinforce your belief in yourself and your ability to overcome any challenge. The more you do this, the more you build confidence, resilience, and courage. And over time, you'll find that fear no longer holds the same weight it once did, and you'll be free to live a life that is aligned with your true potential. Embracing failure as feedback is a powerful mindset shift that has the potential to change the way you approach challenges and setbacks. For many of us, failure is something we fear and try to avoid at all costs. We are conditioned to believe that failure is a sign of weakness or incompetence, and so we often shy away from risks, choosing comfort over the possibility of falling short. However, this fear of failure can limit our growth and prevent us from reaching our true potential. When we begin to see failure not as a defeat but as a valuable source of information, it becomes a tool for improvement rather than something to be avoided. The first step in embracing failure as feedback is to shift your perspective. Failure does not define who you are or your abilities. It is simply a moment in time where things didn't go as planned. When you view failure through this lens, it becomes less personal and more objective. Instead of seeing failure as an end, begin to see it as part of the learning process. Every failure carries with it valuable lessons that can propel you forward. The key is to look at these moments of failure not with regret or shame, but with curiosity and a willingness to learn. One of the most powerful aspects of failure as feedback is that it offers a chance for self-reflection. After experiencing failure, take time to evaluate what went wrong and why. What factors contributed to the outcome? Were there mistakes in your approach, your strategy, or your mindset? What could you have done differently? This process of reflection is not about blaming yourself, but rather about identifying areas for improvement. It's about recognizing that failure is not a permanent state, but an opportunity to refine your approach and do better next time. The more you practice self-reflection after failure, the better you will become at identifying patterns and making adjustments that will ultimately lead to success. Another critical aspect of embracing failure as feedback is the importance of resilience. When you experience a setback, it's easy to feel defeated and discouraged, especially if it's something you've invested a great deal of time, energy, and emotion into. However, resilience is about bouncing back from those failures and continuing to move forward. It's about understanding that failure is not a reflection of your worth or your potential, but simply a temporary obstacle. Resilience allows you to keep going even when things don't go as planned. It is the ability to rise above adversity and use failure as a stepping stone toward your goals. Moreover, when you embrace failure as feedback, you become more comfortable taking risks. Often, the fear of failure keeps us from stepping outside of our comfort zones. We worry about what others will think, or we are afraid of how failure will make us feel. But when we reframe failure as a learning experience rather than something to fear, we become more willing to take risks. We start to recognize that failure is not the end, but a part of the process of reaching success. This willingness to take risks opens up new possibilities and leads to growth. Each time you take a risk and experience failure, you learn something valuable that brings you closer to your goals. Over time, this willingness to embrace failure as part of the process builds confidence and helps you become more adaptable to life's uncertainties. It is also important to remember that failure is often not the final result, but a temporary phase in the journey to success. Many of the world's most successful people have experienced multiple failures before achieving their goals. Thomas Edison, for example, famously failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Yet he saw each failure as a step closer to success. He viewed each failure as an opportunity to refine his approach and learn what did not work. This perspective is key to overcoming the fear of failure and using it as a tool for growth. Just because something doesn't work out the first time doesn't mean it will never work. It simply means you need to adjust your approach and try again. Another reason to embrace failure as feedback is that it can help you develop a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed over time through effort, learning, and perseverance. When you view failure as feedback, you reinforce the idea that setbacks are not a reflection of your abilities, but rather a natural part of the learning process. A growth mindset allows you to approach challenges with a sense of optimism and possibility, knowing that each failure brings you closer to success. It empowers you to keep going even when things don't go as planned and to keep learning from your mistakes. By embracing failure as feedback, you also begin to detach your self-worth from your successes and failures. Too often, we tie our value as individuals to the outcomes of our endeavors. If we succeed, we feel worthy and capable. If we fail, we feel inadequate or unworthy. This all-or-nothing thinking can be incredibly limiting as it prevents us from seeing failure for what it truly is, a part of the process. When you separate your self-worth from your outcomes, you give yourself permission to fail and learn from it without the fear of judgment or self-criticism. This shift allows you to approach life with greater freedom and authenticity, knowing that your value is not determined by any single result, but by your ongoing effort to grow and improve. Additionally, embracing failure as feedback allows you to develop more realistic expectations. Too often, we set ourselves up for disappointment by expecting perfection or immediate success. We may expect that everything will go smoothly and that our efforts will always lead to the desired outcome. But in reality, success is rarely a straight line. There are always twists, turns, and setbacks along the way. When you embrace failure as feedback, you start to accept that failure is a natural part of the journey. It no longer feels like an unexpected or catastrophic event, but simply a part of the process of achieving your goals. Lastly, when you embrace failure as feedback, you begin to cultivate a sense of patience with yourself. Achieving success takes time and the road is rarely easy. Failure can feel discouraging, especially when progress is slow. However, when you view each failure as an opportunity to learn and grow, you begin to understand that patience is necessary. Progress is often incremental, and it takes time to refine your skills, adjust your strategies, and build momentum. Patience allows you to stay committed to your goals, even when progress feels slow, and it helps you maintain the belief that your efforts will eventually pay off. Ultimately, embracing failure as feedback is about changing your relationship with setbacks. Rather than seeing failure as something to fear or avoid, you begin to see it as an essential part of the learning process. By shifting your mindset, you free yourself from the fear of failure and open up new possibilities for growth, resilience, and success. Failure is not the end. It is simply a stepping stone on the path to achieving your greatest potential. Taking massive action is one of the most transformative steps you can take in the pursuit of your goals. It is the bridge between dreams and reality, between intention and tangible results. While many people have ideas, aspirations, and even plans, what separates those who succeed from those who don't is the willingness to take massive, focused action toward their desired outcomes. This doesn't mean simply taking action for the sake of it. It means committing fully to the process, pushing through obstacles and doing whatever it takes to achieve your goals. The first step in taking massive action is recognizing that waiting for the perfect moment will often only keep you stuck. There will never be a perfect time to start, and if you wait for all the conditions to align, you may never take any action at all. Successful individuals know that waiting is the enemy of progress. Instead of waiting for everything to fall into place, they take action immediately, even if it's not perfect. This mindset allows them to start gaining momentum and learning through the process. Taking that first step is often the hardest part, but once you begin, you'll find that you start building momentum, and each subsequent action becomes easier and more impactful. Massive action requires a shift in your approach to fear and uncertainty. Many people hesitate to take action because they fear failure, rejection, or mistakes. However, those who succeed understand that fear is a natural part of the process. Rather than letting fear stop them, they use it as fuel to drive them forward. They recognize that fear and discomfort often signal growth and new opportunities. When you take massive action, you are going to face challenges, and you will likely make mistakes along the way, but each mistake is a lesson that brings you closer to your goal. The key is to embrace those moments as part of the journey, not as reasons to quit. Another crucial element of taking massive action is maintaining a relentless focus on your goals. It's easy to get distracted by life's obstacles, by the opinions of others, or by shiny new opportunities that don't align with your purpose. However, successful individuals stay laser-focused on their vision and do not let distractions derail them. This focus requires discipline and commitment. It means saying no to things that don't serve your goals and saying yes to the actions that move you closer to your desired outcome. Massive action requires consistency, and consistency only comes when you have a clear vision of where you are going and a plan to get there. Moreover, taking massive action means you are willing to step out of your comfort zone and embrace discomfort. Growth does not happen within the confines of comfort. It happens when you push beyond what you've done before and stretch yourself into new experiences. Whether it's making that sales call, launching that new project, or stepping into a new career path, massive action often requires doing things that feel scary, unfamiliar, or overwhelming. But it's this very discomfort that fuels growth and creates opportunities for breakthrough. The more you push yourself, the more resilient and capable you become, and the more progress you will make. A significant aspect of massive action is also recognizing that the path to success is not linear. There will be ups and downs, twists and turns, and unexpected challenges along the way. The key is to remain committed to your goals despite these challenges. People who take massive action don't let setbacks define them. Instead, they view each obstacle as an opportunity to learn and adapt. They know that every failure is a step forward as long as they're willing to get back up and keep moving forward. It is through this persistence that massive action begins to compound, and the results you are seeking become inevitable over time. Additionally, taking massive action requires adaptability. While it is important to take consistent action, you also need to be willing to adjust your approach when necessary. Sometimes, what you think will work doesn't, and that's okay. The ability to pivot and adjust is a critical component of success. People who take massive action are not rigid in their methods. They are flexible and open to trying new strategies when things aren't working. They aren't afraid to learn from their failures, tweak their approach, and move forward with renewed energy. This adaptability allows them to maintain momentum even in the face of setbacks and ensures that they continue to progress toward their goals, even if the path is not as straightforward as initially anticipated. Another important aspect of taking massive action is accountability. When you take massive action, you are not only making progress toward your goals, but also holding yourself responsible for that progress. Successful people are accountable to themselves, and often to others as well. They don't wait for someone else to motivate them. They take ownership of their success and make the necessary moves to stay on track. This accountability drives them to keep moving forward, even when the going gets tough. Having someone to check in with, such as a mentor, coach, or accountability partner, can help you stay on course and provide valuable perspective when you need it. Taking massive action also involves letting go of perfectionism. The desire to do things perfectly can paralyze you, causing you to procrastinate or fail to act altogether. However, perfection is an illusion, and it's often the imperfection of the process that leads to the greatest breakthroughs. Taking massive action means being willing to take imperfect steps, knowing that you can always refine your approach as you go. It's about focusing on progress rather than perfection. Every action you take, no matter how small or imperfect, brings you closer to your goal. The more action you take, the more you learn, and the more you can improve your approach. When you commit to taking massive action, you are also committing to a higher level of personal growth and development. Every challenge you face, every setback you experience, and every victory you achieve teaches you something valuable. As you continue to take massive action, you begin to develop new skills, build greater resilience, and expand your capacity to handle obstacles. This process of growth is not just about achieving external success. It's about becoming the kind of person who can handle whatever life throws at them and continue moving forward with purpose and confidence. Ultimately, taking massive action is about making a firm commitment to your own success. It is about recognizing that success does not come from wishing or hoping, but from doing. It requires consistency, discipline, focus, and the willingness to embrace discomfort and uncertainty. When you take massive action, you move from a place of dreaming into a place of doing, and this is where true transformation happens. Whether the results come quickly or slowly, the key is to stay committed, keep learning, and keep moving forward, knowing that each step brings you closer to the life you want to create. Trusting your inner compass is one of the most profound acts of self-empowerment. It means tuning into your own instincts, intuition, and values to guide you through life's decisions, challenges, and uncertainties. In a world that constantly bombards us with opinions, expectations, and external pressures, the ability to trust your inner compass is both an art and a skill that can lead you to a deeper sense of fulfillment, clarity, and purpose. It's about recognizing that the answers you seek are often within you and that your instincts, when followed, have the power to lead you down the path that's most aligned with your true self. The first step in trusting your inner compass is to develop a deep sense of self-awareness. You must first know yourself before you can trust yourself. This involves understanding your values, desires, and what truly matters to you. In order to trust your inner compass, you must become familiar with your own voice, the one that speaks from a place of authenticity and integrity. This requires quieting the noise of the world and turning inward. It means paying attention to the feelings, thoughts, and subtle nudges that arise within you when faced with decisions or challenges. When you become more attuned to your inner voice, it becomes easier to distinguish between what is genuinely aligned with your values and what is influenced by external forces such as fear, doubt, or societal expectations. Another essential component of trusting your inner compass is cultivating the courage to follow it, even when it doesn't make logical sense or align with what others expect of you. Society often conditions us to seek external validation and approval before making decisions. We are taught to look to others for guidance and to make choices based on what is deemed acceptable or safe. But when you trust your inner compass, you free yourself from the need for external approval. You begin to trust that the path you are on is the right one for you, regardless of how unconventional or risky it may seem. This courage to follow your instincts requires faith in yourself and a willingness to stand firm in your truth, even if others don't understand or support your decisions. Trusting your inner compass also means embracing uncertainty. The future is unpredictable, and the path you are on may not always be clear. At times, following your instincts may lead you into the unknown, where you cannot see the full picture or understand all the potential outcomes. This uncertainty can be uncomfortable, and many people resist it because they prefer the security of certainty. However, true trust in your inner compass requires embracing the unknown with an open heart and mind. It means stepping into the discomfort of not having all the answers, yet still moving forward because you know that your intuition will guide you when the time is right. In moments of doubt, trusting your inner compass means believing in your ability to navigate through uncertainty and trusting that the answers will reveal themselves as you go along. An important aspect of trusting your inner compass is learning to discern between your true instincts and the influence of fear or external pressures. Fear can often cloud our judgment, making us doubt ourselves and our abilities. It can cause us to second-guess our choices and lead us to act from a place of caution rather than confidence. Fear is a natural response to uncertainty, but it can also be limiting if it dictates your decisions. Learning to trust your inner compass means recognizing when fear is guiding you and when your instincts are pushing you to take bold steps. The key is to differentiate between the voice of fear, which often comes from a place of limitation, and the voice of your intuition, which comes from a place of empowerment. Trusting your inner compass means knowing when to lean into courage and take action despite the fear. 2. Deepen your connection with your inner compass. It's important to practice mindfulness and self-reflection. In today's fast-paced world, we often get caught up in the rush of daily tasks and distractions, which can make it difficult to hear our inner voice. By incorporating practices such as meditation, journaling, or simply taking time to reflect on your experiences, you create the space necessary to listen to and understand your instincts. These practices allow you to become more attuned to your emotions and thoughts, making it easier to access your inner wisdom when faced with decisions. Mindfulness helps you become more present in the moment, making it easier to recognize the subtle guidance that arises from within. Trusting your inner compass also requires letting go of perfectionism and the need for control. Often, we seek to control every aspect of our lives in an attempt to ensure success or avoid failure. However, this desire for control can be limiting and prevent us from embracing the natural flow of life. When you trust your inner compass, you acknowledge that life is unpredictable and that you cannot control every outcome. Instead of striving for perfection, you focus on doing your best and trusting that the process will unfold as it should. This approach allows you to release the pressure of needing to have all the answers and allows you to move forward with a sense of ease and trust that you are on the right path. Another important aspect of trusting your inner compass is the willingness to be patient with yourself. Sometimes, the path that your inner compass leads you on may not be immediate or obvious. Progress may be slow and challenges may arise along the way. Trusting your inner compass means having the patience to continue on your journey even when results are not instant. It's about understanding that the path to fulfillment and success is rarely linear, and that every step, no matter how small, brings you closer to where you are meant to be. Patience also involves trusting that the timing of your life is perfect, even if it doesn't align with your expectations or the timeline you've set. In trusting your inner compass, you also begin to build a deeper sense of self-compassion. There will be times when you doubt your instincts or make mistakes along the way. It's important to remember that trusting your inner compass doesn't mean you will always have all the answers or make the right choices every time. It's about being kind to yourself when things don't go as planned and recognizing that every experience is an opportunity for growth. When you trust your inner compass, you give yourself permission to make mistakes, learn from them, and continue moving forward with a sense of grace and self-compassion. Finally, trusting your inner compass means taking ownership of your life and the direction it takes. It means stepping into your personal power and recognizing that you are the creator of your own reality. Your inner compass is uniquely yours, and by trusting it, you align yourself with your highest potential. When you trust your intuition and instincts, you stop seeking validation from others and start trusting that you know what is best for you. This sense of empowerment allows you to live authentically and pursue a life that is aligned with your deepest desires and values. Trusting your inner compass is about honoring who you are and embracing the journey that unfolds when you follow your truth. You are the creator of your own reality. This powerful statement is one that many people find difficult to fully grasp or accept, yet it holds the key to unlocking your potential and transforming your life. The idea that you create your own reality might seem abstract or even unrealistic to some, but when you understand the concept and embrace it, it has the potential to completely change the way you experience the world and yourself. At the core of this belief is the understanding that the thoughts, beliefs, and choices you make every day shape the world around you. Your inner world, the way you think, feel, and perceive things, directly influences how you show up in life and what you attract. The first step in recognizing that you are the creator of your own reality is to acknowledge the immense power of your thoughts. The mind is a powerful tool, and what you consistently think about tends to manifest in your life. If you focus on scarcity, lack, or negative outcomes, you are more likely to experience those very things. On the other hand, if you choose to focus on abundance, opportunity, and positive outcomes, you begin to attract those into your life. It may seem as if external circumstances are controlling your life, but the truth is, it's your internal world that dictates the way you perceive and respond to those circumstances. Your thoughts create your perception of reality, and that perception shapes your experiences. Understanding that you are the creator of your own reality also means taking full responsibility for your life. This can be a difficult pill to swallow for many, especially when life feels unfair or when things don't seem to be going the way you want them to. It's easy to fall into the trap of blaming others, external circumstances, or even fate for your situation. However, when you take responsibility for your reality, you empower yourself to make changes. You are no longer a passive bystander in your own life, but an active participant. This doesn't mean that everything in life is within your control, but it does mean that how you respond to life's challenges is entirely up to you. When you begin to take responsibility for your thoughts, emotions, and actions, you can begin to consciously create the life you desire. Another critical aspect of being the creator of your own reality is recognizing that your beliefs shape the world you experience. Beliefs are deeply ingrained mental patterns that influence how you interpret and interact with the world. These beliefs are often formed based on past experiences, societal conditioning, or the opinions of others. If you believe that the world is a dangerous place or that success is only for a select few, you will unconsciously filter your experiences through those beliefs. Conversely, if you believe that life is full of possibilities and opportunities, you will begin to see and seize those opportunities when they arise. Changing your beliefs is not always easy, but it is possible. When you actively choose to shift limiting beliefs to empowering ones, you begin to see the world differently. You start to perceive possibilities where once there were obstacles, and you begin to take actions that align with your new beliefs. You are the creator of your own reality by the choices you make each and every day. Every decision you make, no matter how small, contributes to the life you are building. The choices you make in your thoughts, words, actions, and habits shape the direction of your life. If you want to create a different reality, you must make different choices. This could mean choosing to let go of past grievances, deciding to take a leap of faith in a new venture, or committing to a healthier lifestyle. Even small, consistent choices can have a profound impact on the trajectory of your life. Each decision is a building block that creates the foundation of your future. In addition to the power of choice, the energy you bring to the world plays a significant role in creating your reality. Your energy is a reflection of your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, and it affects how you interact with the world around you. When you vibrate at a higher frequency, meaning when you are positive, confident, and grateful, you attract similar energy from others and from life itself. When you approach life with optimism and openness, you create a reality filled with positive experiences. On the other hand, if you are constantly operating from a place of fear, negativity, or lack, you are likely to attract more of the same. The energy you emit is a reflection of what you believe you deserve, and as you begin to shift that energy to one of abundance, joy, and confidence, you start to manifest those qualities in your life. The concept that you are the creator of your own reality also ties into the law of attraction, the idea that like attracts like. What you focus on, you attract more of into your life. If you focus on the things you don't want, you'll end up attracting more of those things. But if you focus on what you do want, you open yourself up to opportunities, people, and circumstances that align with your desires. This requires being intentional about where you place your energy and attention. Instead of focusing on problems, fears, and limitations, focus on your desires, dreams, and the actions you can take to move toward them. When you keep your focus on your goals and stay open to the possibilities, you begin to align yourself with the opportunities that will help you bring those goals to fruition. It's also important to recognize that being the creator of your own reality means embracing the power of manifestation. Manifestation is the process of bringing your desires into physical form by aligning your thoughts, feelings, and actions with your intentions. This isn't about wishing or hoping for things to happen. It's about taking inspired action toward your goals while maintaining a positive and abundant mindset. Manifestation requires belief in yourself and in the possibility that you can create the life you envision. It's about trusting that the universe will support you in your efforts when you align yourself with the energy of what you want to create. This process involves not only thinking and feeling positively, but also taking consistent action toward your desires. Being the creator of your own reality also involves embracing the concept of self-love and self-acceptance. When you love and accept yourself unconditionally, you align with your highest potential, and you open yourself up to receiving the blessings life has to offer. Self-love is the foundation from which all other aspects of life are built. When you feel worthy of happiness, success, and fulfillment, you begin to manifest these things with greater ease. On the other hand, if you struggle with self-doubt, insecurity, or feelings of unworthiness, you will unconsciously block the abundance that is trying to flow into your life. Embracing your power as the creator of your own reality, it's important to remember that this is a continual process. It's not a one-time decision, but an ongoing practice of being aware of your thoughts, beliefs, and actions. As you continue to grow, learn, and evolve, your reality will evolve with you. You are constantly shaping your world, and the more you become aware of the role you play in creating your experiences, the more you can consciously choose to create the life you truly desire. The power is always within you to change, to grow, and to create the life that reflects your true self and deepest desires. In conclusion, understanding that you are the creator of your own reality is both a liberating and empowering realization. It brings you face to face with your immense potential and the truth that your thoughts, beliefs, and actions shape the life you lead. While it's easy to fall into the trap of blaming external circumstances or waiting for a perfect moment to act, the reality is that your inner world, what you think, feel, and believe, is what truly defines the life you experience. The moment you accept responsibility for your own reality is the moment you step into your true power, for it's only when you take full ownership of your thoughts and actions that you can create the life you desire. Every choice you make, every thought you entertain, and every belief you hold influences the direction your life will take. The power lies not in waiting for the world to change around you, but in actively deciding how you will show up to each situation. By choosing to focus on abundance, opportunity, and growth, you can shift your perception and begin attracting the circumstances that align with those intentions. The more you trust in your ability to create your own reality, the more you become aligned with the opportunities, people, and experiences that are meant for you. As you continue on this journey, it's essential to remember that change doesn't happen overnight. Transformation requires patience, consistency, and courage to step into the unknown, face your fears, and challenge the limiting beliefs that may have held you back for years. Trusting your inner compass and taking inspired action toward your goals, even in the face of uncertainty, is a necessary step in the process of creation. There will be times when the path isn't clear, when doubt and fear arise, but by embracing discomfort, learning from failure, and continuing to move forward with unwavering belief in yourself, you will inevitably find your way. It's also important to recognize that you are not alone in this journey. The energy you put out into the world has the power to impact those around you. By living authentically and in alignment with your true self, you inspire others to do the same. This ripple effect of positivity and empowerment can create a collective shift toward a more conscious and intentional way of living. As you embody the principles of self-awareness, clarity, responsibility, and self-love, you naturally attract people who resonate with your energy and your vision, creating a community of like-minded individuals who support each other in creating their own realities. In order to truly embrace your power as the creator of your reality, you must cultivate a mindset that is open to growth, learning, and continuous evolution. Life will throw challenges your way, but these challenges are not roadblocks. They are stepping stones to your growth. With each challenge you face, you gain more insight, more wisdom, and more confidence in your ability to navigate life's ups and downs. By choosing to see these experiences as opportunities for growth rather than as setbacks, you transform your perspective and build the resilience necessary to create lasting change. Ultimately, being the creator of your own reality is about becoming the best version of yourself, living in alignment with your values, and manifesting the life that reflects your true essence. It's about recognizing the power within you to shape your world, make choices that support your growth, and take action toward your dreams. The universe is constantly offering you opportunities, but it's up to you to recognize them, take inspired action, and trust that the life you envision is within your reach. By embracing the belief that you are the creator of your own reality, you tap into a powerful force that will guide you toward fulfillment, success, and the realization of your deepest desires.